For my interview, I interviewed John Mendez, who is the general manager at Whiskey Bar and Grill. Whiskey Bar and Grill is a popular bar and grill. They specialize in whiskey drinks and specialty drinks. They also have a full-service breakfast, lunch, and dinner menu. They're located on Rush Street, which is a popular area of Chicago, so they see lots of business. In addition, they're located below a hotel. I found this really interesting because a lot of bars and grills, or even just food industries in general, they have to deal with the normal population, but this has to deal with also the hotel and the population brought in by the hotel. John has been managing for a total of 10 years, and 3 years he's held the position as general manager at the Whiskey Bar and Grill. John works for a corporation called the Gerber Group, which is the corporation that actually owns the Whiskey Bar and Grill. So there's no human resources department found within this bar and grill. The hotel, on the other hand, does have a human resources department. John indicated that he's happy that there's no human resources department because there's less people to answer to and he has more control over other things. With that being said, John's general job is to manage and oversee everything that's being done at the Whiskey Bar and Grill. However, ultimately he has to answer to corporate. Corporate visits the Whiskey Bar and Grill from time to time, and John indicated that they actually just had a corporate visit. These are really important because they oversee how the company's being run and what's going on there. And anything that Scott Gerber, the owner, or anybody else from corporate sees going wrong there, John has to answer to them and implement a plan to fix things. With that being said, John's indicated when there's problems, he takes a step back, decides what's going wrong, tries to look at it from every angle, and then decides the best way to solve it. This is the same way he approaches problems with employees. If there's disputes between employees, he said he'll take each employee aside and talk to them personally, hear their side of the story, and then get them together and just have them work it out. And that's the best way to do it because he's not going to take sides, he's just going to make sure things get better. Speaking of employees, the employee hiring process is a big thing that John deals with, and he tries to make it go as smoothly as possible, but he's also very concerned about it. In order to attract employees, he puts ads out on things like Craigslist, tells what he's looking for, the job description, and then he also likes to take a lot of employees from references from other employees. So, for example, he'll ask if anybody has friends that are experienced in the food service or in the bar, and he'll have them come in first because he trusts the people that he's already hired. One of the things that he said is a big thing for him is personality. He wants to hire people that are not only experienced, which is the first thing he looks for on an applicant, but he also wants them to fit in well with the company. Because one of the reasons is he wants everybody to mesh well and fit together as a team rather than just coworkers. He thinks this is very important, and not only for the company to run smoothly, but also for employees to be motivated. This is one of the techniques he mentioned in employee motivation, is the fact that he chooses people based on how they'll get along with other employees, because you don't want to work with employees you don't get along with. In addition to employee motivation, he oftentimes implements things such as whiskey family dinners, and the kitchen staff has a big part to do with that. They make family dinners for the whole bar and grill staff, and we just all get together and eat and drink, and it gives us, all the employees, an opportunity to just leave work on the back burner and enjoy each other's company. He also does get-togethers, outings such as museum days and stuff like that, in order to promote and motivate employee happiness and well-being. Communication. That's another big thing that John's concerned about. He's recently found a communicative device online. It's called Schedulefly, and it not only is accessible through the website, but it also sends text messages and emails every time there's an update. Um, it's really important within the industry because John is constantly implementing new specials, such as drink specials, as well as the chef at the Whiskey Bar and Grill does weekly specials for food and like St. Patrick's Day coming up. I know they're doing a big thing for that, as well as, Lent was here, so there's a lot of new seafood specials for that season. But it's important that all the staff are educated on what's going on and all the specials because if they're uneducated, they're not going to know what's going on. So John really, really utilizes the schedule fly. And within the schedule fly, it's kind of neat. He showed me there's a bunch of documents that have the recipes, the employee handbooks, and such. And you can access those at any time. And he actually has on his managerial account, he can go in and see who actually looks at them to make sure that his employees are keeping up with that. He also has verbal communication, which I touched on in my last project because I was the communication, and they said that verbal is very important. The way that he uses verbal communication is, constantly telling his employees daily, like, the specials or what he wants done and how he wants differently, but more so with the managers. For example, the chef. The chef will, if there's a problem in the kitchen, John will go to the chef and tell them what he's hearing or the feedback that he's getting, and then the chef will talk to his staff and tell them what they need to do and how to change it. If it's not working out, then John will go himself and tell the staff how he wants it. And usually, word gets around and it gets done. Within the employee training process, mentioning in the handbook, John said that he's pretty laid back and that's his style, and he's found that that works the best. So as far as the training process goes, if a new employee is hired, he doesn't want to put them through a grueling process. He basically just sets them up with one of the other employees working that position and has them shadow them. Again, the documents such as like handbooks or new recipes and everything, that's all available on Schedulefly, so it's their responsibility to look that up. In addition, John checks it and makes sure you are looking it up. So a new employee will shadow their counterpart for a few days and hopefully pick everything up. If not, then maybe John will step in and help out that employee. Going back to John's managerial style, he said that one of the biggest things he's learned is that, to go into everything with an open attitude, being laid back. When he needs to be stern, he is, but other than that, he's not going to step all over you just because he's the GM. So he treats everybody with respect, and in turn, he gets respect. I asked him any philosophies he's had or anything he's learned over these years, and he said, if he hasn't seen it yet, it won't surprise him. Nothing surprises him anymore from customers. He said one of the biggest challenges is actually dealing with drunk customers. And with that, it gets to a point where you have to put them in a cab or escort them out. But generally speaking, he says he tries to cater to all the customers because ultimately they're what's keeping the business going. And yeah, he's pretty laid back, he said, and everything gets done that way, and him and his staff are very happy. So the way that he put it is, his company is run like a symphony. Every person has their own chord, and with them working together, it fits together. He's merely just the conductor, and the end product is beautiful and harmonious.